So how was it?
Awesome. I'm taking it. Look at this, guys. Look at this. It's finally here. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Horsepower Obsessed. We are here today at Click Lewis Chevrolet, right outside of Palmyra, Pennsylvania. And we have something special coming up for you. That's right, C8 Corvette review coming up now. There it is, boys. Even under the cover, it looks awesome. Check that out. Pretty cool cover too. It's got little C8 flags all over it. Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
That's real nice and soft. All right, guys, so like I said, this is the C8 we're gonna be reviewing today. So before we get too much into it, let's cover some of the basics. The car is obviously the shadow gray color. He has a couple different LPO options, including the Trident wheels and the high wing spoiler, which was obviously installed after the car arrived here at the dealership. He has the Accelerate yellow calipers, Z51, 2LT interior with the GT1 seats, but the coolest option he has on this car is definitely the 5VM carbon fiber side skirts and of course the front lip. Now it's kind of unfortunate because GM canceled any of the orders that had this after the first couple were placed. And guys, while we're talking about the 5VM carbon fiber option, let me just mention real quick, the Ridge wallet. Guys, this thing is a perfect match for this kind of carbon fiber and a great update to the wallet that you carry now. This thing will fit up to 12 cards. It has a money clip or a money band option, so you could still carry your cash as well. And it's not quite your grandfather's wallet. I mean, this thing just looks way more updated, way more 2020, just like this C8 Corvette. So if you guys are interested in the Ridge wallet, I will put the link in the description down below, along with a 10% discount code just by being a Horsepower Obsessed fan. So definitely check it out, guys. But the owner of this car was able to get the order in early enough that he was guaranteed these pieces to the car still. And that's fantastic because it looks phenomenal. I mean, pictures do not do this car justice, guys. I've said it before, the car looks fantastic in person, and in pictures, not so much. But looking at this thing from where I'm standing right now, this is literally a Ferrari killer, guys. And looking at the panel fitment, this was another thing I talked about at the Carlisle show. These are perfect. So on that video, I mentioned that the panel for the bumper stuck up right here higher than it did over here, and it was basically because it's a pre-production car. So with the production models, it seems like they have solved a lot of these issues that I've noticed with the pre-production stuff, and that's fantastic. But anyway, I got a couple different comments from you guys saying certain things you wanted to see on the car. He does not have the appearance package in the back. He's planning on doing something special back there, so I'm not going to be able to show you that, but I am going to get in the interior of the car. I'm going to drive it. I'm going to give you all my impressions. This is definitely an awesome day, guys, so stay tuned. With the key inside the car, we can actually pop the rear hatch and take a look at the engine while this thing is running. So there she is, guys. That is what everybody wanted, the mid-engine Corvette. Obviously we have the trunk here. This is the cover for the car that we took off, but just take a look at that. I mean, that is really a sight to see. So one of the questions I got in the comments section was how easy it would be to reach in here and wash this glass or this glass. Now, I'm about 5'11", just a hair under 6 foot. And if I, not touching the car, if I lean in here, I can easily get half the glass on this side and half the glass up here if I was to wash it. Now, obviously, half there, I would have to come over to the other side to get the other half. We actually have the red valve covers. He does not have the edge red engine cover, but it looks good in this aspect because the red and the gray with the gray exterior definitely works nicely. Now, I said earlier he was going to do something different with this area instead of the engine appearance package. What he's actually going to do is get the same setup as the engine appearance package, only he's going to paint it that color. And I thought, you know what, that sounds like a fantastic idea. That's really going to accentuate this engine bay through this glass. It's going to look amazing. So I can't fault him there, but it would have been cool to see the carbon fiber appearance package as well. Anyway, you guys can tell that the headlights are kind of on here. Very LED looking, swooping design there. The exhaust sounds great. That is on the track mode, so that's as loud as it's going to get from stock. And as I showed before, this hatch does have a soft close, so you don't have to slam this thing. You can put it down fairly hard and it pulls it in the rest of the way itself. We're gonna jump in, take it for a spin. This is Coral. This is the owner's daughter. Say hi, Coral.
Hi.
She's gonna ride along with us. But anyway, as you guys know, the pad is right under here to open up the door. And in my previous video, I talked about how I think that responds better than it does on the C7. It seems more instant when you hit that pad that the door unlocks. But check it out, guys. This is the 2LT interior. It is ready to go. GT1 seats definitely still look great. As I was getting into the car, guys, I noticed I wanted to put the seat back, and it's kind of interesting because this was a problem with the C7, but if I put the seat all the way back and then let go, it moves forward just a ½ an inch automatically. Now, if you guys remember, the C7 had a problem where if you put this too far back, the seat programs here wouldn't work properly when getting in and out. So GM fixed it. This area right here is not as thick as you would think. The mid-engine cars typically have a really wide door sill. This one is really easy to get in and out of, possibly even easier than my C7. Just sliding into the car, guys. As you can see, the display is already on, the car's already running, but we're about to take this thing for a ride, so let's get to it. Check out this shifter option. Obviously, we don't have the old style clunk, clunk, clunk thing, but this is in park right now, and if I put my foot on the brake, all I have to do is lift up on the drive mode, and then I can press M right here to use these beautiful guys right here. You got your neutral button, obviously reverse, but the way this is set up, I mean, you got to pull up on the reverse, you got to pull up on the drive. It's just so much more supercar. We're going to reverse it now. Right down in here is where the e-brake is at, so a little different than the C7, but all you got to do is pull up on this right here, and as you can see, that lights up and gives us a very, very clear HD image for backing up. Now, of course, we also have the guy with the pizza, but we also have the camera for the mirror as well, because without that, if we flip that down, and this is something else people requested on my channel, you cannot see anything. Like you can't. This is not usable as a rear view mirror. Now with this camera, very usable, very cool. I like it. But anyway, we're in reverse, so this is the first reverse with the C8, guys. Oh, look at that. We're backing up. We're backing up. And there we go. That's the first reverse. The first reverse. If you remember in my initial interior review of the C8 Corvette, I noticed the center console had a lot of squeaking and felt really cheap. Well, production model feels 100 times better, and if you listen, no squeaking. So I had a feeling that a lot of what I noted in that video was going to be fixed by the time this car made it to production, and I was right. So we're going to hit the drive button here, and like I said, you just pull up on it like a fighter jet, and here we go. First drive. Oh, this is big, guys. This car is freaking awesome. And I'm finally driving a C8. Mine's coming soon, but not soon enough. And I just experienced the first brakes. First drive, first braking. Wow, this ride's smooth. Got to be real careful with the lip here. GM only made 20 of the 5 VM options, and this guy has one of them, so we don't want to be messing up any lips. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's gonna be people staring left and right, because yes, I'm driving a C8. It's funny because I can tell everybody driving by right now, I can tell who is a car guy and who isn't, because either they look and they know, oh, that's a C8, or they don't even bother looking. Actually, there's a car girl. A car girl was staring there for a second. All right, here we go. Oh, here we don't go because there's a red light. Ooh. Shift's nice. Wow. So first thing I note, you don't even feel the shifts in this car. They're so smooth. Even just low RPM city driving, it's shifting like nothing's happening. Very nice. This would be a beautiful daily driver with a dual clutch transmission that hits 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. Like, GM knows what they're doing here, guys. Very quiet. Much quieter than the C7. There's definitely more sound deadening in here. Let's get on it a little bit. I don't want to go crazy because it's still in the 500-mile break-in, but wow, that moves. That moves. That transmission feels great. Wow. Wow, guys, that's fantastic. These paddles are fantastic. They feel like straight aluminum, so very good feeling in the hands. Very fast, very crisp shifts. I'm impressed. The only thing I would notice right off the bat, we need an exhaust. This exhaust is not loud enough. But that's coming from me with a ZR1. I don't know how much you can really listen to what I'm saying about that, because that ZR1's pretty loud. Wow, that makes some nice noises though when you shift. I like it. Put down the window here, see if you guys can hear this too. Ooh, it pops a little. Not bad, not bad. It could be louder though. Wow, that sounds fantastic when it shifts though. Very supercar-like. You hear the pops? They're not real loud, but they're there. I'm hoping you can hear them on the camera. Not bad. Like I said, guys, I'm shifting this at about 3,300 RPM because the owner is still under the 500-mile break-in and I don't want to destroy his brand new car. So not exactly redlining this thing for you, but it sounds fantastic and the shifts are definitely quick. So this is a fast car. Fantastic. I've been talking about this car for like a year and a half now, so actually sitting in it's a big deal for me. Like, all my videos were about the C8, and I'm talking about this car that doesn't even exist yet.
Yeah, now you just read something about a mid-engine Camaro.
Yeah, I saw the rendering for that. And it's time for some manual mode fun, guys. Let's try this out, see what happens. It automatically pushes this down to first gear, where auto seems to sit in second most of the time. Now with manual, obviously, this car is not going to move unless I hit these paddles. It's not going to shift at all. So definitely pretty cool, but you'll want to keep an eye on it. So initially pulling out with it in manual mode, it feels better because it doesn't automatically shift the second you start moving. This will actually stay right there until I shift the car. I'm sitting here right at 3,200 RPM and then dropping down and then back up. It will not shift unless I hit that paddle. Now I know that's the design, obviously, but some cars have that fail-safe where if you don't touch it, it will just shift for you so it doesn't grenade the transmission. This one looks like it's gonna let you ride it all the way out, that's definitely awesome. So same thing for downshifting. So here we go. Definitely awesome. I'm liking it. Like I said, I'm not going crazy on it. If this car was at the 500 mile mark, I would take it up a little bit higher, but I don't know. I'm liking it. Listen to these pops though. That's awesome. I don't know how well it's coming through on camera, but that's fantastic.
I like it. It does need an exhaust though. It's too quiet.
It is way too quiet. Coral agrees, guys. GM, you gotta get an exhaust for this thing. And I mean, this is in track mode, so this is as loud as it gets. Those shifts are crisp. Check out how fast this speedometer reacts when we downshift. Oh, there's those pops again. Same thing for upshift. Wow, that sounds great though. With an exhaust, this car would sound phenomenal. Because there's a little bit of a pop right before the shift occurs. It's awesome. Okay, so the car in manual mode, it does downshift on its own. So if you're coming to a stop and you're not downshifting, it will do it for you. But upshifts, it's all you. I really wish I could give you guys a 0 to 60, but the results would definitely be skewed with me shifting so early. And as we know, the car limits torque and horsepower for the first 2 gears until you hit 500 miles. So they'd be skewed regardless. Even shifting under 3,500 RPM, it still gets to 60 pretty quick. Guys, this car rides so smooth. As you guys can see, I'm in sport mode right now. And if I turn the dial here, we'll then enter into track mode. And very McLaren-esque looking here. Wow, that sounds insane. With an aftermarket exhaust, I could see this thing shooting flames for sure. It sounds like it already is. The ride is in track mode is a little bit stiffer. You can definitely feel it. But supposedly, with this being the new generation of mag ride, it's somehow even better than it was in the C7, and it was already pretty good in the C7. The display, the head unit, everything in the car reacts very quickly, much quicker than you would think, especially if you're used to the C7. But let's go back to Sport and then back to Tour. So this is touring mode. Still pretty neat looking. Definitely a lot of information on that display. Very colorful, very responsive, very high resolution. Again, if you're coming from a C7 like I am, this looks light years better. This guy's taking the 25-mile-an-hour limit really to heart. You follow speed limits though too, right?
Oh yeah.
All the time. That's pretty crazy. So second gear pull. Not bad. Oh, get some, man. That guy was in an SUV. He's getting some out here. All right, here we go. It's pretty quick, guys. Like I said in my last video, the 495 horsepower on paper sounds slow. Or, you know, next to the cars like my ZR1 with 755, this seems like it would be slow. But of course, with that dual clutch transmission, the engine placed in the rear for more traction on the rear tires, it's quick. And I mean, I'm not even giving this car probably 50% of what it's got at this point. And the fact that I can say that and still experience it the way I'm experiencing it now is phenomenal. This car is the real deal, guys. Those pops are crazy. Check out that mirror, guys. There's a couple people online saying that it kind of gives them a headache to look at this while driving. I can kind of see it. It definitely can get distracting, but if you don't have that mirror on, you're literally not seeing anything out of the back of this car. So I'm not sure if this is going to come through on camera or not, guys, but you can actually see the heat coming out of the rear engine. How awesome is that? So this is all vented on the sides and on the bottom under that glass, and just holding my hand here, I can feel the heat coming out. So the car definitely has yeah, there's a lot coming out of there. It definitely has a lot of cooling options here. I mean, aside from your side vents here and everything. I don't know, can you see that? It's pretty cool. My ZR1 on the left with the big wing, and the C8 on the right with their version of the big wing. Look at the difference. It's actually not as massively different as I thought it would be. It's only a little bit shorter than the ZR1 wing. Look at that. It's not bad. Originally I didn't know if I cared for this, but after seeing it on his car, this fits the profile of this thing like perfectly. So check this out, just both of these cars side by side. I mean, there's a really large difference between the C8 and the C7, just as far as styling goes. I mean, both just absolutely incredible cars, but look at that. I mean, the C8 is finally here, guys. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I love it. This carbon fiber stuff on the car is just, the car needs it. It looks so good. It's unfortunate GM wasn't able to get enough of those pieces. Just look at that. The comparison here, guys. C7 ZR1 right next to a C8 Z51. Phenomenal. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. I just wanna give a huge thank you to Click Lewis here, right outside of Hershey. It's in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. They have been absolutely fantastic to me today, allowing me to drive this C8 Corvette. And of course, it's the dealership where I ordered my C8 Corvette, which is coming soon. But it's fantastic that they would treat me the way they do. They're fantastic people, always happy to help. And I want to also thank the owner. He chose to remain anonymous and not show up on the camera. That's absolutely fine, but I appreciate his efforts. Everything has been great today. And you just can't get better than a dealership that will let you have this kind of freedom. If you guys are in the market for a C8, any kind, Z06, whatever it might be, you can put your deposit here at Click Lewis. I highly recommend it. Guys, like I said, Click Lewis is the dealership to contact with any kind of C8 stuff. And if you do, you want to talk to my man, Mike Matarazzo right here. Tell him Horsepower Obsessed sent you.